into the news.
But you let this thing go on for another couple of weeks and you get into Thanksgiving travel, and this thing is going to turn into a nightmare.
No, absolutely. And with the SNAP benefits, too, I mean, you have poor Americans who might get cut off from some of the food that they need to feed their children ahead of the holidays. It's going to affect their ability to enjoy the holidays.
Fuck them. Might be a hot take, but fuck them. Listen. Do I think that food stamps should be wiped out completely? Temporarily? Yes. I think that system is long overdue a full-scale remodel on how it works, from restrictions to rules you need to abide by to continue getting assistance. I think it's absolute fucking farce. It's a fucking scam. Um, I am for food stamps. Don't get me wrong, right? I've been on food stamps at one point in my life, right? I got $350 a month to do fuck all. Now, granted, this was before they started cracking down on it, and they added the rule for able-bodied people that you had to work a certain amount of hours, and then even further, they cracked down more and essentially just removed all the able-bodied from even being receiving benefits. So let me tell you what I used to do, right? Obviously, you know, your boy wanted to play the new video game. He wanted to buy some magic cards or some shit. So you know what I do? My friend and I would just exchange because he made real money from a real job. I was a bum ass motherfucker who lived off food stamps. So the way that I got money was, and keep in mind, everything was much cheaper back then as well. So like $350, shit, you big chillin' on $350, right? Um, Obviously, you know, not living alone and stuff. That's a big booster in that. Like if I lived alone, even with the $350, I'd be drowning. But at the time, I wasn't, and I was getting food stamps. So because of this, when he'd go to the store, say he's going to the store to fucking pick up like $200 of groceries, he would just give me the $200 cash, and then I would go swipe the card because nobody ever checked, nobody verified, nobody cared, right? Most people will probably just assume that that person's just coming with you because they give you a ride here, blah blah blah. You're using a food stamp card, so you probably don't have money. I had money. I had money from him. So that's the difference, right? So I exchanged my food stamps one for one for cash all the time, all the time. Right? I had a couple of friends, right? They go to the store, they go spend $80. I say, all right, give me $80. We'll just swipe the card. You get away with it, right? No problem. Now, obviously, I haven't been on food stamps in a long, long time. And since that point, the restrictions have skyrocketed because they realized that people were doing that. But the restrictions were not good enough to keep people from doing that, right? So I've seen several arguments of people who simply just don't want it to change at all. I've seen other arguments where um, people want it highly restrictive, and the majority argument is that we're done paying for this shit and it needs to go away. That's an unfortunate one, but um, I don't know exactly where this is going to go. Me personally, though, I do think that you need to provide some sort of assistance for the people who can't afford it, right? But I do think they should probably reintroduce it like WIC, where it's just basic essentials, right? And I've seen people argue for like, oh no, they should have some sodas and be able to get like candy and stuff like that. No, absolutely fucking not, right? That's like part of the reason it got abused. And then you have people who have like fucking seven fucking babies, fucking seven baby daddies, and they're already raking it in through fucking both child support and fucking government assistance without needing the SNAP at all. Those are the type of people that you need to be fucking auditing and fucking say, no, you're making way too much fucking money. And we're like, your monthly is insane, right? So let me tell you this. When I was in trade school, you had, well, 4 dorms. You had 4 dorms. You had a male dorm, a female dorm, co-ed dorm, and then you had the, what do you call it? The single mother's dorm, right? Like a single family dorm. So in this government program, because it was Job Corps, so it was government run, government funded. You had a monthly allowance of something stupid. It was, or was it every 2 weeks? It was either every 2 weeks or a month. I don't remember. It's been too long. But it was something abysmal. It was like fucking $15 or something like that. Like, who the fuck is going to enjoy themselves on 15 fucking dollars? Even back then, that didn't get you fucking very far. So your goal when you were in trade school was to get in with the single mothers, because the single mothers, one, they knew how to cook. Two, they continued to get their um, what do you call it, child support. They continued to get food stamps, all that stuff, because they were a family, right? All their government assistance was still online, right? Whereas if you were there and you were just a single individual going through the trade school, you didn't get any government assistance. You got nothing, right? They didn't pay for your phone even. Like, you got nothing. Everything had to come out of pocket. So your goal was to get in good with a single mother, so then you could have 3 well cooked homemade hot meals a day. Dude, that shit was paradise, bro. Paradise, bro. When I tell you that these chicks were living it, they were fucking living it, right? These girls, they had diamond rings and shit. They had fucking they had gold chains on, like nothing big and bulky, but just like that cute little fucking gold chain on, brother. Because they weren't spending any money. Like, the government was paying for their room and board. Like, they didn't have any monthly rent or nothing. So all the money that came in from child support or whatever, if they had 2, 3 kids, they were fucking chilling. So your goal was to get in good with them, so then you could fucking take advantage of the system for yourself, right? And they do that for you, everybody looked out for everybody in trade school. And it's like one of the most enjoyable times of my life. Like, everybody was chilling. And of course you had your bad apples, right? We had some people who starting drama and shit, and this guy fucked this guy's girl, and fucking a bunch of fucking drama bullshit from that, right? And even I had my fair share, right? We all come from a life, right? But the point is these programs have never truly taken into account people's certain circumstances, and they've just, as an overall blanket, have given it to people who don't necessarily need the assistance, right? This is just extra spending money to them, right? Because I would have girls that would take me to fucking Walmart, and they'd buy me like fucking $300 worth of shit, and I'd be fucking stacked out. And then I would take that food, like the extras that I didn't want or I didn't need, and I would resell that food for a fucking regular price for people who were a little bit further along with their trade stuff, and they were already making money. So, like, because we had like work study stuff, and especially if you were in the nursing trade, if you're in the nursing or the healthcare side of it, and then you had like practicals that you had to prepare for and shit. So you would actually go work in a nursing home where they would you'd be able to essentially apply your skills immediately, and they would teach you the ins and outs, right? So yeah, you had quite a bit of stuff like that.
So this is a big deal. That used to be that Democrats cared about issues like this. I remember back when Obama said this during the government shutdown in 2013. Watch.
Uh-oh. Here it is.
Think about this. Shutting down the government just because you don't like a law that was passed and found constitutional. No Congress before this one has ever in history been irresponsible enough to threaten default.
Oof. Man. He really called that shit, huh? He really called that shit.
To threaten an economic shutdown, to suggest America not pay its bills, just to try to blackmail a president into giving them some concessions. We're not going to.
That part is insane. Because that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to force Trump to give illegals a bunch of fucking money. And, yeah, honestly, I've stated my opinion on this so many fucking times. But, like, if you shut down the government, right? I think whoever initiates the vote, they either have to come up with a proper solution to reopen the government. And I would say a week. I would give that person 1 week. And if they didn't have a proper solution that is actively voted on and agreed upon to reopen the government within a week, they should be fired. Nope. If you initiate the government shutdown, if you are the first one to fucking call it up to the congressional floor and say, I vote to shut down the government, then you better have some sort of fucking backing that makes some sort of sense to propose a solution to the problem that you are currently stuck on, right? So when it comes to funding for the illegals, right? You need to have a solution in mind to get them that funding that can be agreed upon by everybody in the congressional floor. And if it can't be, then you just lose your job. Plain and simple. And I know what people are saying. I know what people are going to say. They're going to say, oh, well, then people can just do it on purpose and just not agree, and then it would force that person out of their position. And you know what I think? Fuck them. Fuck them. That's what I think. Because if you came into it and you just wanted to be fucking petty about it, then you won't have a proper proposal ready to go anyway. So you'll already be a bad actor, and I'm perfectly fine with them purposely throwing you out of the government, right? And there's enough differing minds in Congress that I really don't foresee that being an issue. It would be tough. It would be tough for either side to really pull that off to a degree that it would matter.
Submit to this kind of total irresponsibility. Congress needs to pay our bills on time. Congress needs
Facts.
to pass a budget on time.
Facts.
Congress needs to put an end to governing from crisis to crisis. If Republicans
Facts.
do not like the law, they can go through the regular channels and processes to try to change it.
Amen, brother.
That's why we have elections. You do not threaten the full faith and credit of the United States of America.
Hey, I agree. Unfortunately, his Democrat, friends up there in Congress don't. They don't agree. And they don't care either. They don't care about you watching this video. They don't care about your grandma who's currently starving because she doesn't have food assistance. They don't care about fucking your cousin Tim, right? Who's on disability, right? They don't care about any of that shit. They don't care about none of it, right? They don't care about your uncle who's got the fucking who's not going to get his VA checks now, right? They don't care about any of it. They don't give a fuck. They would rather the world burn than for them have to give up ground on a position that nobody agreed with. No one. Absolutely fucking no one.
But yet now,
Love a good flashback like that.
Key word there was blackmail, blackmailing. And it's important to remember, too, that Chuck Schumer, who once called government shutdowns the politics of idiocy, famously said of this shutdown that every day gets better for us. Well, every day's not getting better for everyone. The flight delays.
It fucking, of course it gets better for them because they don't feel the effects of anything that goes on here. Listen, I even saw a post on Facebook in some fucking radical group that I follow so I can kind of keep up with this crazy shit. I saw a post on Facebook of like people that are going to do their own blackout, right? No going out to restaurants, no fucking this or that or the other. And it's just like, what kind of stupid fucking retard made that stupid thing? Like, what you think that's an effective protest? The only people that hurts is your regular everyday citizens, your regular Joe Schmoes down the fucking block. That's the only people that fucking hurts. If you want the government to reopen and you want your food stamps back, what you need to be doing is you need to be writing your representative, you need to be blowing up their email, you need to be fucking calling in so much that they can't even fucking answer the line without another new call coming in, right? And obviously you need to be respectful. You can't just go on there and start calling them a bitch and shit. And you need to be respectful, but you need to fucking say your piece, right? You need to put pressure on your local politicians, right? Whoever your governor is, however you can get a hold of them, however you can communicate your specific desires to reopen the government, you need to do that. When the people join together, you can get just about anything done. We could shut down any corporation. We could get anybody thrown from their seat in office. It doesn't matter who it is or why they're there, right? If the majority of people can get behind a certain agenda, it's over for whoever the target is. It happens all the time. Look at the fucking gaming, the gaming landscape right now, right? We had a bunch of fucking villainous, vile, fat, ugly, bitch ass Karens and incel bitch boys who are trying to come into the space, censor it, fucking make it play to their fucking ideologies, and fucking push everyone out. And we revolted. We said no. We said you can take your fucking bullshit, put it back in your magic box, and get the fuck out of here. We said it over and over and over and over. And we collectively started targeting these fucking people, whether it was a fucking bullshit game review, or it was censorship on a certain platform, or it was anything fucking, anything related to um changing a key element of a story that we enjoyed, right? When we're talking about like swapping characters out, or we're talking about um, essentially replacing certain dialogue just to fit a very, very like a point fucking 2% to a fucking 3% minority of the population. Like, what the fuck are we trying to tailor games to those retards for? What the fuck is this bullshit? So if it works in that industry, it can work in any industry. There's nothing that is exempt from the absolute pushback of everyday people. The other problem is most everyday people aren't paying attention to this shit, right? The only people who watch Fox News are like 65 and up, right? Because like people like me and anybody who's like around my age, um, we all catch the patch notes of this. Like we see it on YouTube or we see it on TikTok or whatever, or X, like Twitter. That's where we all get our news primarily. Like none of us watch